It's
You're
too
put on the
early,
spot.
man. I need a date. I need a date. I need like a build up from the through the day, like throughout the day.
I know.
Yeah.
We know that when it comes to burps and Steve, you usually don't burp until about 7:47, 48
Yep.
every
Yeah,
day.
that is true.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with you.
I need my all day coffee. Guys, welcome to the Valley Cast.
Yes.
Isn't this nice? Look at how nice this is. We got Joe Beretta in the house.
Whoa.
Coming straight from Minnesota.
Joe Beretta in someone else's house.
Yeah, these aren't my sharks. These aren't my dolphins.
These aren't my beautiful sharks. This
Joe,
is not my beautiful bed.
your voice has that like lower register that says you either stayed up very late last night or
Yes.
you got up 10 seconds ago or both.
Yes.
It was both, isn't it?
No, it's
Did you
also
have
got,
fun?
yeah, it's like I said, it's super laid back. It's our buddy Andy Mogren's 40th birthday, so flew out here for that. And this is stayed up too late, got up too early, but like sat around a campfire voice. You know how that
Mhm.
happens?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
what I got.
Did you
Yeah.
fall asleep at the campfire ever?
No, 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 no. But stayed up later than I thought I would as an
Did
old man.
Andy was there like a campfire and then did someone have like I don't know like a guitar and
Oh
like
yeah.
play?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. Any cool hits that we
Did they
should
play Wonderwall or?
any Wonderwall? Yeah.
I think we avoided Wonderwall. We did some Cake.
Ooh, that's
Ah,
nice.
Very
We did
nice.
some Pinkerton. We
Oh,
did
good,
Nice.
we
good.
did
I
El
love that.
Scorcho. Yeah,
Any
yeah, yeah.
Beatles? Any Rolling Stones?
There was
Oh.
definitely some Beatles. There was definitely some old tracks because that's how they do here. But it was one of those just good memory moments because you got Andy playing the guitar like he does by ear, like an asshole. And then next to him was Sam Gorski from Corridor Digital playing
Mhm.
a guitar along with him, just hearing what Andy's doing, and then he would just pick it up. And then his friend Dave had a bass guitar, and they were all just kind of an acoustic bass, and they were all just picking up on each other's
Wow.
vibes, and everybody was singing. It was great.
An acoustic bass is a frustrating instrument.
Is it?
It is because the bass is already like, you're hearing these boom, 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 those kind of like, but you need amplification
Yeah, yeah.
because if you don't, then you're just, the acoustic guitar is louder than the acoustic bass, and it's like unless you're smacking them strings, it's hard to hear it.
It's true. There's I think it just added like a
A nice little
subconscious
flavor.
undertone.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that, and that's what the bass does in general.
Mhm.
Like nobody really like goes like, man, I love that bass line in that song. Some people go like, I love that riff,
Mhm.
but they're not like that bass line throughout the whole song. Just fucking, it sucks
Unless they're
my ass.
listening to Primus, then they're totally on board.
That's true.
Uh,
That's true. Slapping the bass on
my
premise.
so the town is beautiful. It's an amazing little it's got old school buildings and they've all been renovated, so it's like got new stuff inside them. You know what I'm saying? It's got like a 1920s type vibe almost with all the brick and mortar. But what I found with everybody from Minnesota, or at least this area specifically, or Andy's friend group, Andy's really good at telling stories. Like he'll
Yes,
just launch into a
Mhm.
story and he'll be like, "Here's everything I know about that."
and he has a crazy
Every
memory too. His memory is insane.
everybody does it here.
Oh,
Oh.
everybody has like a
Everybody.
story. Has
There are-
stories.
But they're all just so good at doing it and they launch into it like very casually, matter of factly. I would say there was everybody from like super blue collar to super creative that were kind of at this party hanging out. All of them are really good storytellers, and I think it's just part of the culture up here. It's really
Nice.
interesting.
Is that
Yeah.
because they're you think it's because they're like we're back to nature here? This isn't a city. It doesn't feel like city, right? Like metropolitan.
I doubt it's the fact that it's in nature. I think it's just more of
Lack of
it's a
Jim
little
Crow. Still Jim Crow. Segregation hasn't stopped
Exactly.
yet. There's still, yeah.
This
Is that what it is?
creates the tensions
And
and
it's, they don't know. They haven't heard.
Town.
They haven't heard.
I think it's a more
Is that what it is?
laid back, less technology driven. Like we're just used to people that are on their computers and phones all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it,
Um,
and also like, but is there like city? Does it feel like there's city activities?
I mean,
where you're
this
at?
is like 20, 30 minutes away from Minneapolis. So it's not that far out, and the town, it's not super small by any means. It's got one of the biggest high schools in the state, apparently, because of all the kids that come to it. But yeah, it's just I think they just know how to fill the dead air. Like if they feel it, they're like, all right, I got a story. And it'll be about nothing that you are dealing or talking with or looking within your like general vicinity, or it might be about the rock that you just saw on the ground. They're very, very in tune with the area and just spinning yarns.
Maybe it's
Beautiful.
impressive because we've told every story we've ever known 10 million times. And we just don't have any more good stories, or they're all stuck together with someone else's story, and it's hard to remember if it's our story or someone else's story at this point.
Well, I don't know, but it did make me think I should start writing down the things that I've done and like the memories and stuff like that. Because like you said, we think it's out there because we think we've like made a record of it, which maybe we have. I ain't going back and watching 500 episodes of SourceFed to remember the stories I told. I should start, just kind of putting it down.
Yeah.
Like
I think about
kind
that
of
with my
written record or something.
Yeah.
with my lack of taking photos now or like posting on social media. I noticed like I don't have many photos of myself anymore because I'm not making content and I'm not posting things. And so I was like, one day I'm going to look back on this time of my life and be like, oh, like the way I look is going to skip by months and then years. It's going to be very easy to be like, oh, look what time hath wrought, as Jon Stewart said. So yeah,
I'm the same way. Very little posting these days. And I know that like sometimes you'll go back, you'll be like, I want to remember that thing. And you go back to Instagram because all of our memories now are just in a 4x3 freaking or square box, 4x4 box. And it has been a very nice chronicling of like all the jobs I've had. I could like watch my Instagram and be like, oh, there's when my job changed. There's when my job changed.
Nice.
There's where life changed. That's kind of nice, but I'm not doing it either.
I have a completely different experience, I think, because I've been doing dynamic banter for 8 years, every single week for 8 years, and the Valleyfolk every single week since we started the Valleycast.
Damn near 5 or 6 years now, right?
So it's 5 or 6 years on top of the 8 years of dynamic banter. And at this point, it's like someone will message me and say, remember when you said, or they'll send me a video and they'll be like, because you said this on that episode, or like someone will be on the subreddit or something and be like, oh man, this was my favorite thing when they talked about this. And the helpful part is that they can help me locate these moments. So I don't really need to be like, I have to listen to hours and hours and hours and days of content. I could just be like, type into Google dynamic banter Reddit and then type in episode where Steve talks about kidney stone, and it would be like someone will have that, and they'll have the time codes, they'll have the episode, so I could just be like, I have this like AI algorithm sort of that I could just be like, computer, when did I talk about this thing that happened in my life? So I have this like record of it for like fucking 8 goddamn years.
Man, when you're really old and you're going through that, that's going to be trippy.
Dude, I know.
It's like 20, 30 years from now, and you're like on Google finding like a cached or whatever the word is.
Dude,
web page.
I know. Oh, yeah, where it's like the archived page that's like, it doesn't even exist anymore, but here's the archive of it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy how much of a record. I mean, and obviously there's the personal things that you don't super share, like maybe there's like a funny version of a personal experience that was like traumatizing or something, and it would be hard to recollect those feelings or know what happened exactly in those moments. But man, it's crazy how much you're just like, I need to go live my life and experience my life just so I have more stories to tell.
I know. Speaking of events and experiences, I did go to a live show in Los Angeles, California yesterday, and it was at the Elysian.
Ooh, that's a fun venue.
Really great venue.
Intimate.
Love it, yes. And I saw a performance by a comedian by the name of Moses Storm. I don't
Heard
know
of
if
him.
you guys are familiar.
Heard of him.
Yes.
I think he might
not. Yeah, I think he knows Mike or something, but he has like a, I think HBO special that he did called like Trash White or White Trash or something like that. Anyway, so we arrive and he's doing this immersive theater thing. And it's very cool. And I recommend people go if you're in the LA area. It's really fun, very interesting. And it's cool to see people put themselves out there so vulnerably. Now, that said, when you get there, it's called Perfect Cult. And you arrive and you are given a white robe to wear
I
as
love it.
well as a mask. So everyone is wearing masks and white robes in the audience.
Whoa.
Like Eyes
And
Wide Shut.
then it opens with like a full on oh god. Hang on.
Oh no.
I messed up.
Technological
I
difficulties.
messed everything up.
Oh no, the storytelling. If he was from Minnesota, the story would be better.
Okay, I'm back.
We need someone
I
from
said-
Minnesota in here fast.
We needed somebody in Minnesota to fill the gap. I thought it was
Whoa,
funny to
whoa!
film
So
that
there was
man's
like a
hands.
whole ceremony.
Look at this. Look it out. Crazy.
What the fuck? There's
He's
like
wearing a robe
there's
made of
heads.
like theater masks, yeah, and then he's wearing a white bulletproof vest, and it is all about how he grew up in a failed cult, and how like he didn't even have a good enough cult that got like a Netflix documentary, and so the whole premise is he's trying to create the perfect cult, and it goes through. It's all like a lot of crowd work on this. It was really really great.
That's
So,
a good bit.
It was a great bit. It was very fun.
I thought you. I mean, you're being facetious when you say that we don't know who Moses Storm is, right? Or are you serious?
I don't
didn't
know.
know if you knew.
Oh,
Yeah, Joe does
okay.
know.
I thought
I don't know.
Why do we? That is such a familiar. Like I feel
I
like
think
we
he-
worked with him. We like worked with him a bunch, or maybe I did.
I think
Maybe
you
did.
did.
Like
We've not crossed paths, I don't believe, but we
at all.
are.
Like you never even met
Nope.
him.
It's definitely like
Did
Yeah,
you?
I worked with this guy. I can't remember
Oh.
on what though. Let me type in dynamic banter. Moses Storm. Yeah, I have worked with this guy. I don't know in what capacity though. I forgot, but he's a very funny gentleman.
Did
Yeah,
you
it was-
find? Did you walk away from it inspired? Did you walk away from it wanting to do it again?
Yeah.
Did it give you the juice?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of the writing stuff. It's the ocean between writing and doing it on stage that I haven't swam
Mhm.
across yet. But it was very inspiring, and I love the venue and that kind of like. It was very yeah, it was very inspiring. It was just like it was also not the kind of thing I would want to do, despite the overlap in themes. Like the cult stuff and like that kind of thing is interesting to me, but it's not how I would take a different tack than he did, which is
Right.
great. So it wasn't like, oh man, I wish I would have done this, like, or I wish I would, like, kind of like, oh, if only thing. It was sort of like, okay, cool, this is great.
Matt Robb and I did with our friend Jolie, we did like a little after school special thing at the Elysian. And
Oh, yeah?
and this was before they like now they book like legitimate acts and stuff, but back then it was like anybody who wanted to like do a show and had a friend that could vouch for them could like come do a show. And we did something at like I think it was supposed to be at 10 o'clock and we ended up going on at like 11:45 or 12 or something.
Ooh.
And there were like people that came out to see us and like they were like I felt so bad. It's a good venue though. I like how small it is. But it was really fun because we gave everybody crayons and like little like
Nice.
coloring pages to like color on and stuff. It was very strange. But I do miss and love like weird LA shows like that, like getting the audience involved, like giving them robes and masks and shit. And I think that's like a movement happening in LA right now. There's a lot of like comedians that are like doing more performance art stuff than just straight
Yeah.
up stand up or straight up improv. And I've been seeing a lot of this stuff recently, and it's really good and weird. There's like a clown movement, and there's like a
Mm-hmm.
whole thing where people are just like fucking going all out and doing weird shit like what you saw. And I love
very
it.
cool.
I wonder if it's
inspiring.
an echo or reverberation of just like now that we're a couple years past pandemic and that really reset everybody quite a bit more than we'll ever realize.
Yeah.
Like now all the weird is starting to come out.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
dude.
You know,
Yeah, I think the live scene really obviously took a toll with COVID. And then I don't know if we talked about this on the last show or not, or wherever we talked about this, but there's like a lot of New York transplants that were in the weird avant-garde art clown scene that are now here. And because COVID also ruined their scene, and then it just never came back. And in LA, there's been like all this weird shit happening for the past, like even last year, I think there was a bunch of stuff. And New York's just tapped out. And so we got all these New York comedians, clowns, weirdos like coming and making shows in LA, and I fucking love it. I'm all about it.
I say get them out.
Kick them out. They don't even like LA.
I want the same 6 comedians at Comedy Store, and that's it. Doing 15 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
They're not even on the docket, and then they show up, and then they just push everybody else back and off.
Yep.
I love that.
Can I talk to you guys about something that's been kind of bothering me a little bit it's kind of like a tangential offshoot, if that's okay, unless you guys want to stay in the comedy scene and talk about that a bit longer.
No,
you've already launched us out.
So few things less interesting to people than the LA
than us
comedy
talking
scene.
about comedy.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I don't know. This might not win you guys over either, or the audience, but I have to talk about the phenomenon. And look, I know I've talked about this before, but I had a recent experience with 4DX that it just keeps cementing this like really bizarre thing to me in my brain. Like I don't know if there's maybe something wrong with me. And I need you guys to help me through this and talk me through this and work with me on this, because I just every time I go to a 4DX movie, I come out with like, 'cause I'm exhausted. But I'm also like incredibly, like, I'm just in this state of shock from like the whole thing. Like, Joe,
Pleasant
you've
shock?
done it. You've done it, right, Joe?
I have never. No.
Oh man, can we just do it? Let's all go do it. Because you really can't, it can't be described.
I think it could be described.
But I could do my best to do it. But it just, nothing prepares you for what it actually is.
Well, like I've been to something, I guess, similar enough to know kind of what you're talking about. I've definitely been on the Shrek experience.
Okay, yeah.
At Universal Studios.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, the Shrek, if we're comparing the Shrek experience to a brand new 4DX thing, it's like the difference between your dad shaking you in a laundry basket when you were 4 years old and like going through like a horrifying traumatic earthquake.
Wait, you're saying that that 40X is the earthquake in that?
Is the
analogy?
earthquake,
Okay.
yeah. And I think because I think the Shrek experience is meant to be like, fun little, and also there's so much technical shit. Like the 4DX Shrek experience and like Star Tours, you've been on Star Tours.
Mm-hmm.
Star Tours is like purposefully made for the imagery on the screen to match with the movements of the seat by
It's like
experts.
Transformers ride at Universal.
Absolutely. And these are experts that took years to fine tune the connection, the between the screen and it's done that way because it can make you sick if the seat movement doesn't match the movie movement that you're watching, because your brain is like, what's happening? That now you're on a boat, right? And the horizon line is like doing this. And so that's why people get motion sick, because they're like, the connection between the two things isn't great. And they fine tune it all the time. Like Star Tours is intensity and the all these things have been messed with since it opened. And so
They're tinkering.
They're tinkering. And 4DX is like, this is a movie that was meant to be seen in stillness. And here
butts in seat.
Yeah. And here's an experience where the seats are meant to sync with the movie experience, but they don't always do.
No, they're not tinkering enough.
No, and it's like, and look, overall the experience is really fun and stupid, and for me, dude, this is the part where I have a problem with maybe something's wrong with me, because when I sit there, I just watched the new King Kong movie in 4DX. Okay.
Good
Lot of
40X choice.
It's
a lot of shaking.
I honestly thought it was perfect.
A lot of shaking.
Yeah.
A lot of getting hit with air, maybe some
Right?
sprinkles. Yeah.
and spray and smoke and fucking
When Godzilla's
snow. When
Yeah.
and you really feel it, and it's warm. But it's like really fun and stupid and bonkers, and the whole time it's like out of control. It's like it's ridiculous how much it moves, Joe. It's ridiculous. And if you like me and my group that we went with, when we went to the concession stand, I was asking my friends, I was like, what are you guys getting? And they're like, well, we're not getting popcorn, that's for sure. And I'm like, why not? And they're like,
Good
well,
move.
because it fucking goes all over the place while you're eating it. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, so obviously I'm not going to get popcorn, whatever. So it's like people are preparing for the experience. But some of the trailers even like move before the movie starts. Dude, it's crazy. I every time I see it, it's like I'm experiencing it for the first time again, and it's fucking dude. I can't even simulate what my body is doing while the seats are shaking you around because I don't have the force in my body to do it. I need the hydraulic chairs to do it, and
Is it
so
that bad? Good
dude,
Lord.
it's fucking crazy.
When the first time I did it with Dune, a masterpiece, and first time seeing Dune, and we sit down and I had a beer and it was filled to the top, and I thought like surely you would ease into the 4DX experience. But when Steve's talking about trailers, there's also like they do like the AMC intro thing with Nicole Kidman or whatever. They do a 4DX version where they're like, here's everything it could do right now, and it immediately spilled beer everywhere, and every single person in the theater was like, oh my god, like you could hear the regret ripple through the theater.
Dude, but
that was a subtle one too. Like Dune is subtle. Godzilla, they were like, give it everything.
Dude, Godzilla was non-stop, and the movie is almost 2 fucking full hours.
They're just constantly walking and jumping.
Dude, and I would say that maybe there's like 10% of the movie that's like chill, where you get to actually like have a sip of your drink and not worry about you stabbing the roof of your mouth with your straw. Like I'm gonna put the straw's gonna like deep throat the straw when you're like trying to dude. But so this is my experience though, and I swear to God I'm not exaggerating. This isn't hyperbole, and I know that I add a little hyperbole to things for funny effect.
You're traumatized?
Dude, it just doesn't make sense to me. I need to go to therapy.
Yeah, go talk to a therapist.
I need to talk to a therapist.
You need to unpack this with a professional.
Dude, I just don't understand. To my right, there are 16-year-olds. 3 16-year-olds. Boys.
Seems primed. They seem primed for this.
Perfect, right? To my left is my friend and a couple of other friends. And behind me is like...
Also all 16, by the way.
Yes, but I'm a chaperone. It's not weird. And I work for the city. And there's people behind me, and they're old. And then there's people in front of me, and they're like, I'd say 30s, late 20s. So I got all these ages all around me. And no one... I need a camera, because I don't know if you guys... No one is reacting.
So that is scary.
Joe, just like that. Your most serious face, and just fuck it, dude. But crank what you're doing up to 20. Dude, I don't understand. Like, maybe I'm something's wrong with me, because the second any movement happens, I'm losing my shit laughing and going like, ah! Whoa! Oh my God! I'm laughing and screaming, and everyone around me is just like,
Yeah, joyless. To do such a stupid experience and be so joyless during it is honestly, I think it would add to the experience because I think that's incredibly funny. When the boredom on their faces would kill me.
Boredom, Elliot. It's not even boredom. It's just like go to any movie theater for a drama or a drama and go in 30 minutes into the movie and look at everyone's expressions. That's the same expression these people have while they're being violently shook.
They just have movie manners, dude. They just don't want to make noise.
It's movie manners.
Yep.
Dude, it's like imagine going on a fucking roller coaster and everyone's silent. No one's screaming, no one's laughing, no one's enjoying it. And dude, even my friends were not reacting.
Not friends anymore.
And then at one point, the 16-year-olds leave.
That is such a 16-year-old move.
Right?
Oof.
It's in the middle of a movie that they paid $40 a ticket for, however the fuck much it costs. And they leave. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it was too much for those guys. and they're done. And so like 30 minutes goes by and they come back and they've each got a box of pizza.
I mean, again, they're killing it.
I cannot believe. I wish I could have watched them instead of the movie. Dude, Elliot, exactly that. Like holding the box of pizza and like opening it to get a slice out. Like, dude, with zero expression. I'm losing my mind. I cannot believe. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's breaking my brain, dude.
I think it is like it's like when the simulation glitches a little bit, like they forgot to program the expressions on the other people for you.
They forgot to program enjoyment.
Yeah, and you're like in Truman Show.
Like to me, it feels like why are you paying for this? If you're not like experiencing it like a ride.
It's a mildly miserable experience, I think. And I think that's what I love about it.
Why are these people torturing themselves if they don't love it? It boggles my fucking mind.
I feel like you're probably watching most of these movies either with somebody doing it for the first time and they don't know how to react at all. And again, that's mixing in with like movie manner culture. Like they don't want to be loud. They want to be respecting everybody else.
16-year-old kids?
Yeah, some of them. And then you got the ones that have been doing it forever. The grizzled vets like Elliott, who's probably also sitting there not making a lot of noise, but internally loving it.
Dude, I've seen maybe 7 40X movies. That's not an exaggeration. And every time it's fucking insane.
That first jolt, because also like we're old enough to like remember, like there's something about being in a theater that has an intimate, still, quiet feel, and that first jolt is so unnerving because you're like, this is different than my entire whole memory of this, universal experience, and then you're just. Boom.
Dude, and it's not even the worst of it. The first one that happens is not the biggest and hardest movement.
Yeah, and to me, it often feels like they're trying to throw you out of the seat.
Yes.
Or make you fall out.
And that's the part that's like fun, like it's fun to almost be thrown out of your seat. I'm cracking up the whole time because of that. Because I'm like trying to stay in my seat. And then like, dude, no.
You were the weird experience for everybody else.
Yeah,
they
dude.
Were like, why is that guy? What's wrong with
Why is that guy loving this?
What if they were like, our seats aren't moving?
Well, mine's the only seat moving.
Steve, what if you didn't go to a 40X movie? You just were like,
And I just, I guess I had a seizure. I'm just looking at a camera. They show me like a camera. And they're like, this is what happened.
Imagine doing all the bouncing you've been doing in this podcast right now, but in that seat in a non-4DX theater.
I need to do
Aren't you guys having fun?
I need to do an expose. I think I need to do a full expose.
Well, this should be your next little 5-minute slideshow presentation.
I think, dude, it needs to be an expose. It can't just be a slide presentation.
I definitely think we should track down whoever programs these 4DX films.
I need everybody. Because the directors need to sign off on it. The studio needs to sign off on it. And then there's programmers. And then there's tests and focus groups and shit. And then it makes it to the theater. And not every movie gets 4DX, by the way. Strangely, surprisingly, the new Mad Max movie is not going to be in 4DX. I was
thinking what it would be like if Oppenheimer was in 4DX. I bet inappropriate.
Like fucking 3 hours of being... Dude, my brain hurt. My brain hurt when I came out of there. Because it was 2 hours of being violently shook. And so this is what I want to do. I want a camera. I want a night vision camera in the theater to get a good amount of footage of people doing this. And then I want to isolate. I want to capture the people that were not reacting and then interview them after the movie and show them the footage. Well, and be like, here's someone having an insane fun time. And here's you. What's going on?
Explain yourself.
Please explain. Is this even fun to you?
What is, if not?
Why did you buy a ticket to 4DX if you weren't going to go and scream and lose your mind? Because to me, it feels like a 4DX theater showing. Have you heard of rowdy showings of movies? Mm-hmm. There are some theaters that do rowdy showings, like the Alamo Drafthouse, and it is specifically meant for people who want to be a little loud and fun and crack jokes or cough. If you want to come cough at a movie, you come get the ticket. I got a little bit of a cold. I might want to get the rowdy. But you know what I mean? Cough. You can be a little louder. You can sing along or whatever it is. You can be rowdy and you don't get kicked out. To me, it feels like the 4DX, if you buy a ticket to a 4DX movie, you are buying a ticket to a rowdy showing of a movie, which means that if you want to be like, whoa, and laugh at all the dumb shit happening, that should be okay. So I don't think people, maybe they don't understand that, because Joe, you're saying maybe they're being polite moviegoers and they're just like not trying to disturb anybody. Go see the regular show if you don't want to. If you like, go see the regular show.
I do know the joylessness on people's faces during it is so, because the whole point is just so stupid, and I don't know how, because it's also like they're taking the 4DX experience actually seriously in some capacity. Like, this is just how you watch movies, and it's like, oh, this is dumb. This is
maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're thinking like the 4DX experience is to be treated exactly the same as a regular showing.
Yeah.
Which breaks all logical dams in my brain. Because it's like, but you're not seeing a normal movie experience.
Maybe they're plants.
Dude.
They could be plants,
Maybe
because
they're plants.
Maybe not enough people are buying tickets for 4DX because it's so fucking ridiculous.
Joe, I would buy that.
I'm just saying.
I buy that. I would accept that the reason why these people are not reacting at all is because they're paid to be there. I would accept that as an answer to why that's happening and nothing else.
Money is the only plausible. Yeah.
What's happening? Dude, and here's the even crazier part, Elliot. I came out of that movie like, whoa,
that's what I was gonna ask.
Man.
Yeah,
like and just going like, wow, you guys, and it's just people casually strolling out of the theater, throwing their trash away, going to their car, like going to the bathroom and shit. And then I met up with my friends they all went to the bathroom, and then we were like met up in the lobby to talk about the movie or whatever, and they're just talking about the movie
like normal people.
Dude,
like you didn't just see it in the stupidest way possible.
Yes, I felt insane because I was like, there's this guy I don't hang out with this person all the time. I see him sometimes for a movie, and I was like, man, that 40X, huh? And he looks at me and goes, yeah, but that scene where the fucking, oh man, the big robot arm on the monkey, that was, and I'm like, really? But what about the 40X? And they're like, yeah, man, that was crazy.
Did you, when you leave, you know, when you met up with your friends and you walked out, but like when you're beside all these people on the way out, did you catch any like feedback from the 16-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, the older folks? Did they say, what a nice normal experience?
They just threw their pizza boxes on the ground and walked out. And that's the other thing. There's a fucking horrifying mess in there when the movie's over.
Has to be.
Popcorn and drinks and
they
fucking...
spray water, so anything you spill is gonna get gross at the bottom. They have to clean it, I'm sure.
And it smells like the Pirates of the Caribbean in there because of all the water, the fucking gross.
And the smoke, yeah.
I went on Pirates of the Caribbean recently. I didn't think it was as great as I remember.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went on it?
I went like when I think maybe I remember the Disney World version, but I don't know if there's a difference in the two rides.
Similar.
I just remember there being like a waterfall with like the octopus guys like projected.
That out. Yeah, that's
gone. And then it just seemed like it was just really boring. I was like,
it's you know, it's the hot take is that it's overall that it's boring. But I understand it.
Of course, it's classic.
It's
a
15-minute museum.
Yeah,
it's a get out of the sun.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not saying I want it to be like 40X.
Yeah. But it felt a little less awesome.
Everything else is
as
great.
An adult. I mean, it is 15 minutes long from start to finish. Isn't that
great.
crazy?
Is it the longest experience in the park?
I think it is. But that, I mean, it's just meant to be like, oh, look at this artistry. Oh, look at that artistry. Yeah. And I'll appreciate that forever. But I don't think that the people who think it's boring are crazy, because it is kind of boring. You're going real slow and you're hearing the same
like
song
Carousel
for
of Progress.
Minutes. Exactly.
Boring too.
Interesting.
What gets me with it is like every once in a while you turn a corner and there's just like scale. Like, oh my God, look at that size of that ship. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The engineering of it is always incredible.
Always.
Rides.
Yeah.
It's and then the history behind it and going like, man, this has been here for this single ride has had so many iterations and so many new skins, and it's really cool.
So many hand jobs. So
many circumcision skins.
Yeah.
So many circumcision skins turned into little drums. Wait, what? Are we talking about the same thing?
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
He's just going on a tangent about that. But yeah, man, I've never felt crazier in my life.
That's kind of how it was when we saw, what's his name, the magician.
When you saw David Copperfield? Yeah,
David
you're right.
Yeah.
It is a very
we were like, he's doing magic.
And everyone's just sitting there in silence, not clapping. Maybe people
are
broken.
UFO, and everyone's like,
are people broken? And maybe is there any science or psychology behind potentially people not having the capacity for reactions and taking things in? Like, it's hard to multitask. It's like hard to do. It's hard to react.
Stuff either goes in, it can't come out.
I can't listen and
can't
listen and show.
I can't listen and show. I listen or show.
I can listen
Got
or
a flick
show.
Switch.
If I'm not listening, then I can react. Is there some psychology behind maybe? Because I want to combine Joe's theory with the question: are people being respectful in a movie experience, and they're having trouble? Like, they're afraid to react because maybe they'll look like they're a wuss or they're not, or like, how could you be reacting that? Like, what is the psychology behind that?
Well, there's a big bearded guy behind him who's making enough noise for everyone in the theater. They're probably like, God.
But usually, like, okay, you know how when Matt Robb does this, and it's always really funny. What you can be in a full movie theater of people, and when there's like a moment that feels like an applause should happen, Matt will just be like, and then suddenly everyone's clapping, and everyone's even if it doesn't really make sense.
So
Isn't there something to be said of like, if one person does it, it's okay for everybody else to join in? Like, if you're hearing someone having a really good time in there, doesn't that let everyone loosen up and be like, oh, I can be having a good time too?
All I remember right now, Steve, is that when I was a kid and I would go to a movie, a non-4DX movie, there was always some middle-aged man that was louder than everybody else. Laughing his ass off,
pussy.
Usually sitting on his own, like he's bearded. he's having way too much fun at a level that nobody else is doing. And I remember as a kid, us always being like, "What the fuck is wrong with that guy?" And that's you now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I know that there's the like, because there's all these characters when you go to the movie theater. There's the people that have no regard for other people. They're on their phone, they're talking, their light is as bright as it could possibly be in the middle of the fucking movie. There's the people that talk the whole time. There's the people who laugh at shit that you're like, why did they laugh at that? And you're like worried about that person, and you want to avoid that person when you're leaving because you're like, why did they laugh at that violent, horrible thing that no one else laughed at? And there's all these different characters in the theater. Does that mean that I'm one of the? But if it was,
you're almost there. You almost got there.
But here's the
cut
thing.
yourself off.
But here's the thing. If this is a regular movie with no thrill ride element, then I can understand being a loud person in the theater could be a very isolating thing, and someone could isolate you and say that guy's being loud or whatever. And for the most part, in a movie theater that isn't moving like a fucking thrill ride, I'm pretty chill. Like, I'll whisper jokes, or I'll do one little thing in the middle or at the beginning, and that's it. Like, I'm pretty chill. I used to be worse when I was younger, way better now. But 4DX is a fucking roller coaster ride. It's like saying don't yell on a roller coaster, or don't be loud on a roller coaster. Don't laugh in Star Tours. I would never, ever expect people to be silent when something exciting is happening. That's why I feel like the weird person in that scenario.
You shouldn't feel like the weird person except for the social awkwardness of being the only one. But I think you're right. The fact that it is ride-like means you get to react in a ride fashion.
Exactly. So all bets are off with like thrill ride reactions in there. And if that's something you don't love, then don't go see the 4DX version. And because I expected other people to be going like, whoa, or like, woo, or at least but nothing, dude, nothing.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
And it's not just this time, it's every time. So Joe, when are you back?
Tonight?
We'll be at the theater at 10:30.
I honestly think we should go see.
There's no world.
Maybe you have to be with your family because you're back from a little trip.
There's no world where I come back and Heather's like, finally, and I go, babe, you're gonna have to put it on hold for a second. I gotta go.
What if there's an 11 p.m. showing of a 4DX on a Tuesday night? I just tell me, I'm gonna be bothering you guys about this for a minute because I need more analytical minds to join me in this.
Well, I'm sure there's some listeners as well that can let us know their experience in the 4DX.
Yeah, is there anybody listening to this that understands this plight and has done a 4DX and it has also noticed that people aren't reacting in a normal way? And I'd love to hear those. But also, we have to. Is there a way we can see a 4DX movie together before the next episode of this show?
Maybe, possibly.
All right, let's try.
I will be out of town, so
son of a
well, but Elliott,
bitch.
you've done it before,
but
so
I won't be on the next. Yeah, I won't be on the next episode anyway. So just go with that.
Foreshadowing.
Okay, so maybe okay, or we'll talk about it and we'll wait so we can all do it because that's a better. use of that experience and get Kevin in there too. But this needs to happen soon because I don't know. Like, I feel very. Do you understand why it feels frustrating to me? Like, it's not crazy that I feel.
Yeah, no, it is not crazy. I don't think you're crazy at all. And I can relate to from the David Copperfield
because of the David
experience,
Copperfield thing. Yeah.
That like, what are you not seeing? And the not only blank or lack of reaction, but like almost like an unimpressed, or like they expected the car to appear. And you're like, no, you didn't. You didn't expect the seat to twist around and spray you with water. But people maybe just aren't as fun.
Maybe people aren't as fun, or they're afraid to, or there's a self-consciousness associated with expressing feelings of joy.
Well, the expectation, but the difference between the two scenarios is that I feel like the expectation for a 4DX movie has got to be so low. Like going in, you're being like, this is going to not be a great experience, or it's not going to be, maybe they'll wiggle a little bit. But with David Copperfield, the bar is so fucking high.
The bar is high with David Copperfield.
It's like he's probably going to do something like make a car disappear. And if he doesn't,
well, because it's also like not a cheap experience to go see David Copperfield. Like, it's not the most expensive thing in the world.
Or 4DX.
But 4DX is considerably more expensive than a movie ticket.
Yeah.
I think it's like 20. I think it's double the price of a movie ticket.
Which implies that people sought it out, purposefully bought tickets for it, and are there for that being at least a big part of the
Like, how many people's first time is it, is what I want to know. Okay, maybe I'll work with 4DX on this because I have humble brag. I have direct access to these guys. So maybe I'll use their like test theater as like a focus group. And then maybe it'll culminate with the idea that we will have people who have fun screenings of 4DX movies and invite only people that will react to the theater experience. And anybody who would sit there silently is not allowed.
Well, that sounds like a nightmare.
No, I want everyone going, whoa, like we're on a roller coaster ride.
You just overcorrected. The pendulum went too far.
I'm not asking for disruptive people. I'm asking for people. I'm asking for people who naturally react the way humans are meant to react to a thrilling experience.
You're expecting that everybody is going to react as if you were at the best comedy experience you've ever had at the theater. Like everybody's laughing at every joke. That's an amazing moment. Or like Adventures Endgame when they pick up the fucking hammer, or everybody like
and everyone cheers and shit.
The doctor's thing, and everybody's going. I think that's what you're expecting for every fucking moment.
Well, I guess so here's what I would do. I would do 2 or 3 screenings it would be different people every time. And I would review the tapes of the reactions of people in the audience, and I would pick people in those viewings and ask them if they'd like to come back for free on this date. And that date is the date where I have now brought in a bunch of people that look like the right kind of people that would enjoy 4DX in the way that it is meant to be enjoyed. And all the other people, I want to follow people who weren't having fun. And the next time they want to see a 4DX movie, I'll just say, I'm sorry, but you didn't have as much fun. You didn't have fun. So you have to see the... You're not allowed in here. Or like in the movie, there's like an usher that comes over and goes, "Excuse me, sir, you look like you're not having a good time. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave."
That is because like a highly like introverted individual who is just naturally has their emotions directed inwardly is just going to be like, okay, this is fine. But that's like half of all people.
But that's the thing. It's like, is that what's happening? Is that it just so happens that every time I go to see a 4DX movie, the majority of people are antisocial, like slightly more reserved individuals. Is that what's happening, you think?
I think
so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that some people are just more reserved than you, Steve Zaragoza.
But why would more reserved
notoriously
people...
not
no way,
reserved
I don't
person.
believe it. I don't believe it. Why would more reserved people buy a ticket to something that is not...
Because they're still having fun. They're just not showing it.
Okay. So it's like when you tell someone to smile on the street and they're not smiling.
Yeah,
it's like, why
they
don't you
love that.
smile?
Yeah.
People hate that, and it's because they're like, well, I might be happy, but I'm not showing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it's more so it's a double-edged thing. It's like, are these people enjoying... If these people are enjoying it, if the people that have a serious face are enjoying it, then fine. But the other thing is do they have a problem with me enjoying it in my way, which is laughing really loud and enjoying it like a thrill ride? And so I want to know, like, if you're enjoying it and that's the way you show it, then all right, fine. But is it okay that I'm not showing my joy that way? Maybe I don't know.
There is something to be said about, in philosophy, the idea of enjoyment is very much you're enjoying what other people are enjoying. What you enjoy is the enjoyment of others, basically. So if they're not showing enjoyment, you will then feel like you are being kind of you're not having as much fun either. Because you
exactly.
Yeah.
And also it's like afterwards, because it's like, from my perspective, it's like I'm the only one that is not like outwardly expressing my enjoyment, and to them they were like, there was this one guy that liked it too much or something, and it's like, what's weirder, the one guy that enjoyed it too much, or the majority of them that weren't enjoying it in the way that it... Because again, like, the context of how it moves is really important when we talk about like what is happening in there.
I just want, next time you go, and this is the occurrence, if this phenomenon is happening, I want you to stand up and freak the fuck out. I want you to go, you are ruining my enjoyment. Don't
Why aren't you laughing?
My friend Elliott told me that my enjoyment is directly related to your enjoyment, and you're ruining this for me.
I want everyone to raise your hands. How many of you are enjoying this? That's what
I thought, Joe, that you meant that Steve was just gonna hop up and go, oh, absolutely not, the moment the chairs start moving. Like, oh, the chairs are broken.
Something's wrong with these chairs.
Something's wrong.
Holy shit, that's like an Eric Andre sketch. Eric Andre goes to a 4DX and he's freaking out that everything's happening.
Why is this happening? He doesn't know.
He's the big one. Somebody spit on me. Somebody spit on me.
He comes in right after the 4DX trailer that establishes what it is. Like, he missed it.
Thinks it's actually immersive.
This is a Tim Robinson sketch.
Yeah. Well, I hope you don't let it get you down. Yeah, it's part of it's everyone's part of God's beautiful tapestry. So you can't. I
guess I pray. You know what, Elliot? I forget about that. Can we pray?
Yeah,
let's pray.
Dear Lord, please help us and guide us through this labyrinthine experience that life is. Dear Lord, we understand that sometimes you provide us with entertainment that, although does not give us the satisfaction that we get from worshiping you, Lord, it is a distraction from you, Lord. But I appreciate that you accept that humanity will persevere and create technologies that entertain and create joy, but it will never be forgotten that the true joy that we experience in life comes from you, Lord, and what you have given us and to our families and the world. And for that, we thank you. Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Thank you.
That was nice, actually. That worked.
It does. It feels nice, doesn't it?
Look, at the end of the day, we're all part of God's 4DX plan.
So anyway, I went to church and I wasn't
he's shaking
enjoying
things up.
it. I went to church and I was the only one laughing at the sermon.
Church 4DX is another great sketch.
Oh man, there should be other things in the.
These
4DX.
pews look different.
What about 4DX Mario Kart?
Also great, and also probably
Mario Kart.
A bunch of Japanese arcades. Already.
I know they already do it, huh?
Yeah,
it's a ride.
All right, well,
church
guys,
is the way.
Thank
Church
you
is
for
the way
to the show. Church is the way, as we always say here on the Valleycast. Anything else you guys want to share?
No, this is good.
No,
No.
no.
Look, people in Minnesota tell good stories. That's what I had today.
That's nice,
That's
Joe.
what I
I'm glad
had.
you get to step out and have fun and see Andy. I wish
Yeah.
could have been there. He's happy birthday to him.
Oh, I
Is it-
did
is it-
want I did want to say also, yeah, happy birthday, Andy. We love you and thank you for housing our friend and having him and giving him a wonderful time away from his family. For a moment, Elliot,
Yeah.
I wanted to say that I really enjoyed. You could pass this information on to Grace, but I also enjoyed your involvement in the Disney video that she posted, where she was getting all
Great.
the names of things wrong, and you were correcting her.
Yeah, that was really frustrating. I didn't realize she was doing a bit for a hot second. And then-
I love it a lot, and I like that you continue to try to have Grace enjoy Disneyland to a degree in which maybe she didn't so much enjoy it earlier on in her
Right.
life, and I like
It's getting
that.
there.
I like
Yeah,
the
it's
work you're
happening.
putting in is not it's seen.
Thank you.
I see you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. It's been quite a journey and it's a lot of planning, as you know, Steve.
Mhm.
And so I appreciate you seeing me. I think we might be going at the end of the month with Memory and
Ooh.
Chip again. And,
Ooh.
and so I was like, okay, more people makes the planning more complex, but we can
Mhm.
figure it out if we all put our heads together. So
It is
Thank
hard
you for
once you put
saying
more
that.
friends in the mix. But
Yeah.
yeah, I see you. I see you. I like it. I enjoy it. I'm actually going to Disneyland tomorrow.
no way, nice.
I am. And tomorrow is the eclipse.
Oh, interesting. Oh, we don't really get one here.
We don't really get to see the full eclipse, but we'll see a little something.
No.
If you're
here
at
in Minnesota,
Disneyland,
they're gonna
it
get it.
looks. If you're at Disneyland, it looks like when it covers it, it's got like 3 circles.
Looks like a
inside of
little
this
hidden
one.
Mickey,
Looks
doesn't
like a little
it?
hidden Mickey, yeah.
Oh, maybe.
You guys care?
Maybe.
Joe, are will Andy and them see the eclipse from where
They
they
got
are?
they're gonna get like a 70% coverage.
No
here.
way! I bet you're bummed
Wow.
you can't stay a little longer.
Just
to see
gonna
them.
miss it. Just gonna miss it.
And that's like a
So-
once in a lifetime human experience right there, isn't it?
I feel like we've had a couple of opportunities in the last 3 years, is what it feels like to me.
No.
Bye.
Alright.
Just kidding. What were you saying, Elliot?
I don't remember. I was like, where'd he go?
Do you care about the eclipse at all, Elliot?
It doesn't really do a lot for me,
Yeah.
but I think it's cool that it happens once every 400 years or something.
Yeah, I think
But if we're
space
not
is
going to
neat.
see it, I didn't know we weren't going to see it. I thought we'd be able to.
We're gonna
see
see
a
like
little
some
more.
of it, I guess. We'll see like we'll see the moon will look kind of funny, I guess, right?
We get a
Yeah, is that
sliver.
the-
We get a sliver of
Because
it.
this is the moon going between the
Mhm.
sun and the earth. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is
Well-
celestial sex.
I just know it means you're not supposed to manifest, apparently. No
Oh,
manifesting.
so we need to clear our intentions,
Mhm.
clear our wants, and
And I
needs.
do want to throw a little thing out there. I don't know if much of the public knows this, but yes, there will be an end of the world scenario when the eclipse happens, but it is only going to happen in the places where it's 70% and above coverage. Everybody else is fine.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know.
Wait, are
Yeah.
we?
Mm-mm.
No, we got 5% coverage. We're good.
Oh, good.
We're good.
Still